Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a smallmouth mayfly nymph. The hook that I have in a vise, this is an I77LS from Maruto. This is a size 8. This is a streamer hook. I have a 4mm bead on there, and I just want to show you something that yesterday I was at the craft store. I was actually at AC Moore. It's closing in my area. But these beads here, look right there, value pack 200. Nicole's Bead Shop. And they are metal beads, and they are 4mm. Nice big beads. And they cost 200 beads, was about $4.50. I'm going to add a little bit more weight to this. This is 20 thousandths lead-free wire. I'm going to put like 15 wraps on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. Push that right up against the bead. The only thing, these beads aren't hollow or don't have a countersink in them. But just if you just crimp the barb down, you'll get them on there, no problem. Use my nail clipper to take that off. I'm going to use some Danville 140, and this is white. Going to start it behind the lead wraps and push those lead wraps into the bead. Then I'm going to come up to the bead. Now I'm going to put legs on them, and these are the LivelyLegz. This is 4/6/8 size large. I'm going to use black ones. There's the front with the 85-degree angle, not quite 90. I'm going to trim off just quite a bit of it. I'm just going to leave a small tab there, just enough to catch my thread. I'm going to hold this. I'm holding it on my side of the hook. And then when you wrap it, it's going to end up on top. Move to the second one. Move to the third one. Now that last pair of legs, I'm going to leave them on. This is a streamer hook, so this is a big hook. I'm going to secure that. That last one, because it's not on the lead wraps anymore, you got to just be a little careful there. I'm going to go ahead and secure the rest of this. And I trim off that little bit, that little piece right there. Just grab it and pull it up and snip that off. Now I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to use a fine gold wire. This isn't an extra fine. You have to actually cut this when you're at the end. I'm going to use the gold wire, and we're going to roll around to the other side. Not a big deal. We're going to counter wrap it, so being on that side is a good start. Now I'm going to take my pheasant tail center, and I'm going to take about, probably about 8 fibers. And we're going to make that tail about half the length of the body. Just have to put in 1, 2, 3 wraps. Fold it back. Get a wrap or two to You don't necessarily have to get it right on top, but getting it right on top is not a problem either. We're going to take our thread up, and I'm going to put it between the second and third set of legs. Now I'll take my hackle pliers and put it on my pheasant tail, and I got to turn this a little bit just to get that first wrap, and then I can wrap my pheasant tail up. Oop, look at that. Let's undo that one. There we go. Just hold my finger next to it and that'll keep that under control. And come up here and get that wrapped right up to the last set of legs there. And I'm going to secure that between the second and third set. I'm going to trim off my excess. Yeah, we're going to secure that. Now we're going to take our wire and we're going to counter wrap this. I'm going to go once underneath the tail first, and then wrap. Oop. And that last one, I'm going to just bring that over the top and secure that there. Give one more. Take my nail clippers and trim that off. Now with these LivelyLegz, if you go and take if you give it a figure 8, you're actually going to make those legs go down. I kind of like that look to them going down. Now, since I'm not going to use the pheasant tail to make the legs, and therefore I don't have to use those nice legs right there, I'm just going to take another pheasant tail, one that's already, all of those nice ones are gone, and I'm going to take a lot of that. I'm taking, there's an 1.5 inches right there. Then I'm going to take another 1.5 inches. Just stand those all up. It's not as necessary on when you're just making a wing case. I'm actually going to put some more on there. I'm going to take some from that soft side. I want a nice thick wing case here. A lot of places I know that there's a lot of big rivers. The Mississippi has a big mayfly hatch where there's some really big mayflies. I see it on the Weather Channel where it's showing up. The hatches are showing up on radar. Here on the Susquehanna River, there's got a big whitefly hatch, although the flies aren't as big, but this will still work here. It's just a big bite for those smallmouths. I'm going to take those 3 clumps. I'm going to tie these in. I have to go behind that last set of legs. And you can see those legs are pulling down even more. Then I'm going to give that a figure 8 and get those middle legs to go down. And then I'm going to give a figure 8 on that front one to get that top set of legs to go down. I'll bring my thread back behind that third set. Now I'm going to use Beaver. This is gray Beaver. I'm going to leave all of the guard hair in there. And I'm going to make a bit thick on the dubbing noodle. But with this Beaver, it still makes a pretty nice tight noodle there. You don't want a little skinny noodle where it's going to look like a rope wrapped around there when you're done. You want to be able to get all of that Beaver, all of that dubbing to blend in as one. Put a little moisture on your fingers now and then. Okay, that's getting long, so I'm going to wrap this. Go ahead and cross over underneath. Do a bit of a figure 8 there. Wrap that a little tighter. I'm going to use a lot of dubbing here. And I'm going to add more dubbing. It's going to repeat the process with more dubbing. And one more long noodle will be enough. When you get towards the end of your noodle, you want to thin it out when you get close to the head. Get a little moisture there. There you go, that's going to make a nice tight noodle. Like I said, I know this is going to work on those smallmouths. And bring that up. I'm going to take the large clump of pheasant tail. Gonna make a nice wide wing case. You can press down on it and that'll help you widen it out. That front leg wants to go down even further. We'll give it like 3 wraps. There we go. Put a couple of wraps in front. I'm going to trim this off. Trim that off nice and close. And now since I have white thread, I'm going to take a black Sharpie and you want to color 6 inches of it. But when you get the Sharpie, when you color the Sharpie black, you don't want that to reel that in onto the spool because you'll get marker on your spool of thread. So I'm going to finish off this head by covering over all of that white. Take my whip finish. Add 1 speck of white back there. Give it 3 or 4 turn whip finish. Pull that out. Oh, I got a little bit of white still on there. I'm going to take my Sharpie and cure that. There we go. Go ahead and snip this off. I like the way those legs are going down instead of just straight out. I'm going to take my head cement. I'm going to put a good amount on there. I'm going to put a big glob on the wing case and bring that right down to the head. I suppose if you wanted, you could put UV cure on the top of there. But I find that when you put UV cure just on the top of that, you cure it, it tends to come off. So you just let that settle and dry. That'll actually soak right in and dry. And here we have a nice, large smallmouth bass nymph. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Please leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.